We had, I don't take care of it.
Well, it's rolling the dough.
We did away with Dish Network and it's all tied together. Good morning, everyone. Would you join me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Joe Perkins is here with the Baptist Church to give us their invocation.
God in heaven, it fascinates me that you would give stewarded authority to parents, give stewarded authority to government officials, and I think about King David, guided the integrity of his heart and skillfulness of his hands. So I pray that you grow the skillfulness of the hands of each of these laborers who labor with stewarded authority, and I pray you give integrity of heart, and those two dimensions we pursued. Thank you for an example, David there in Scripture, leaders that you give. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Make a motion we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Sorry.
Make a motion we approve the claims in the amount of $575,374.82.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. $1,959.38 was that debt service on the sales tax for the
jail.
jail. Yep.
Jim.
Are there any ads or dates? Do we have any changes on the agenda?
Yes. Jesse with Public Works would like to request a 10-minute executive session for non-elected employees to discuss job descriptions. Our county councilor Jacqueline will be present at the meeting, but she does need a 5-minute executive session, non-elected personnel for attorney-client privilege to discuss potential litigation. Danny Nation will not be present to discuss his item.
So that's all. Okay.
And then Dawn Brooks with AMR will not be present, but she did email her report.
Okay. Make a motion.
Just a second. I have a planning and zoning person to appoint at some point.
Okay.
So at the end of the meeting or whatever.
Is that it?
Yes.
You have anything, Ally?
Nope.
Motion we approve the agenda as written. The changes.
I'll second it.
And moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Somebody had the sheriff's report for them.
I do.
I do.
Total May 27th, 2025, total prisoners of 53, 14 releases this past week, prisoners in of 52, 1 farmed out for a competency evaluation, farmed in 36, total 911 calls of 82, jail contacts 4,213, total calls for service 695, total civil service papers served of 16, VIN inspections 5, new cases open 30, cases closed 8, vehicle crashes 6, SRO activities 38, Bailiff contacts 236 with 18 calls for service, and livestock out of 3.
Yeah. It's AMR.
Yeah. I can read it. AMR monthly report for Linn County. Blue Mountain, 2 calls, 1 transport. Centerville, 3 calls, 2 transports. Fulton, 0 and 0. Lacing, 30 calls, 14 transports. Fontana and Lane, 0 and 0. Lynn Valley, 13 calls, 7 transports. Mound City, 28 calls, 12 transports. Parker, 22 calls and 9 transports. Pleasanton, 18 calls and 12 transports. Prescott, 1 call, 0 transports. Total responses for Linn County District 1, 43. And response time, 15 minutes, 57 seconds. Linn County District 2, total responses 26, total transports 14, 13 minutes, 29 seconds. And Linn County District 3, total response 48, 22 transports, average response time 19 minutes, 26 seconds. That's it.
Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hegwald, Linn County Rural Fire Emergency Management. I'll start out with last week's calls. We ran 8 calls, brings our yearly total up to 291. I emailed Danielle about a 5-minute executive session for non-elected personnel to discuss a job applicant employment application. I didn't know if we could do that
Yeah, that's fine.
before we got into anything else. And then I also sent out the 2025 or 2026 budget. There was a 0.6% increase. As you go through those, I also sent out a budget summary, kind of talked about it, but part of that was our insurance. Our insurance for the fire department has been going up about $2,000 every year. So part of that $3,500 increase was to cover the insurance cost. Pretty much everything else stayed the same from last year to this year. The budget summary kind of talked about where we were in the equipment, and then I also sent out a current equipment list of the trucks we have and the equipment we have and what stations they're at. So as you guys review that, if you have questions, please reach out to me. I did send out the surplus equipment, pictures of the tanks and the vehicles. The only information I got back from anybody was Pleasanton was interested in purchasing and looking at some of the plastic tanks in one of the SUVs. I had not heard anything back from any other county department or fire departments on that equipment. So
You want your 5 minutes now, or?
yeah, if that's all right.
Okay. I'll make a motion. We'll go into executive session with Randy for 5 minutes to discuss personnel with the 3 commissioners. Just you.
Danielle, because it's
Danielle.
HR.
It's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're turning at 9:13.
You have the debt service right now. I wouldn't quite know.
She's got it over there.
Okay.
Can we make that 9:15 or 14?
I've got 9:14.
Thank you.
That debt service amount was $501,959.38. Yes, sir.
Was no action from executive session.
Commissioners, I'd like permission to hire Landon Schneider to Station 910, which is Mound City Station, as a probationary firefighter pending pre-employment physical and drug screening. This would bring that station up to 11 out of 15 spots.
I'll make a motion. We hire Landon Schneider to Station 910 pending pre-employment and probation period.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Commissioners, I'd like permission to hire Bernard Garrett to Station 960, which is Prescott Station, pending pre-employment physical and examination. This will bring that station up to 7 out of 15.
I'll make a motion that we hire Bernard Garrett at Station 960 Prescott pending pre-employment and probation period.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 That is all I have unless commissioners have questions this week.
Are we good to go next week, June 2nd? Talking about the workshop.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think we're going over mutual aid, automatic aid agreements. Do we feel
First
prepared?
I've heard of it.
I talked to Jacqueline and she's communicated with the other fire chiefs in our other stations in the cities just to get all of the fire chiefs on the same page in the same room so everyone has the same information.
She had not reached out to notify me of that, but yeah.
Jacqueline hasn't? Okay, I'll have Jacqueline reach out because I know she has reached out to other. Oh, thank you. So how much time do you think that workshop's going to be? 30 minutes?
I would say plan on an hour just to be safe.
Okay,
So
so
too.
1 hour. Is it going to be?
It'll be
Open
immediately following the
Business meeting.
business meeting, correct? So it's open to the public, but it won't be live streamed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I should be here.
Yes, you should. I'll have Jacqueline call you.
All right. Anything else?
Did you guys want him to bring anything specifically?
What they've been working on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have like automatic aid agreements, just different notes from the different meetings that I went to from Pleasanton.
Racine and Lynn Valley.
Lacey Lynn Valley will be here and Pleasanton.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. GIS mapping.
Morning, Commission.
Jason.
Pretty good. Jason Parker, GIS Administrator. Just wanted to give a couple of quick updates. Next Wednesday, June 4th, we're going to have a lunch and learn with Connect Explorer, Eagle View. It's a mapping software that we use. Going to send out an email to everybody later on. I've got a sign-up sheet. Kind of want to get a head count because they are bringing in lunch. Also, my new hire, Jessica, is doing an amazing job. She's learning really quick. Carol is teaching her just about everything, and everything is going good on that end. Also want to say, been doing a bunch of back-end work. IT is helping me with some server stuff and getting geared up for some future projects. So that's about it.
What was the time on
It
June
is
4th?
from 11 to, I believe, 1 p.m. And like I said, I'll send out an email,
And
another email with a sign-up sheet.
who are you trying to get to attend?
Just anybody who could benefit from mapping.
Within the county employees?
Yeah, county employees. Sorry.
So I would suggest probably economic development and Jesse, just going over like park situations, maybe Sherry. Just if there are others that you think would benefit that we can't
Yeah, I
name.
think just about anybody could benefit.
Okay.
That's all I have this morning.
Does one of us want to attend or do we want to have a representative attend for the commission?
I personally cannot on June 4th.
I don't know for sure. How about you?
I could probably go.
Would you like to?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Have a good day.
You too.
Chastity?
Hello, I am just asking for 10 minutes, legal with commissioners and Jesse Walton and myself.
Is it legal?
Legal. so-
Legal.
So we would,
We need to get Jacqueline on.
Yep, she,
She knows about it. I just didn't get
Okay.
her on the phone. She said she made it available, so
okay.
I'll make it.
Can we just make it 15 minutes?
15?
I can call. Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to go into executive session for 15 minutes for legal with Chastity, Jesse, our attorney on the phone, and 3 commissioners.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 We'll return at 9:36.
Would you need me to call?
primary structure. No, I don't think so. No, it never. Mentioned that, like, 50 years, this is on, been in place, 40 years. Yeah. Three times, one rough counts.
There was no action from executive session.
Sorry.
Jesse here. You get him for us, please? We're waiting on you now.
Okay, I'm here.
Good to see you.
I'm here and I'm up. I sent out just a short review of what went on in the last week. I just need one executive session for new hires. Don't think I'm going to need more than 7 minutes, 7 minutes for it. So
You want to do it now?
I'd like to do that now if we could.
What do you want, 5 or 7?
7.
7. Okay. I'll make a motion. We go into executive session for a new hire with Jesse and the 3 commissioners. Danielle for 7 minutes.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. We're gonna have to start getting our calculator out.
That's why I did it.
41.
41. Okay, we'll return at 9.
Is that not right?
I got 37 on my computer. 9:37.
So 44,
Yeah.
9:44.
Everything.
It's getting particular.
Hold on.
It is.
Did we have a second? Did we have a second and a vote? Did I miss it?
The second,
I think Jason seconded.
There was no action from executive session.
Commissioners, I'd like to hire Mark Collier as an equipment operator 2 with a Class A CDL at 18.7772 an hour.
I'll make a motion that we hire Mark Collier as an equipment operator at 8H, equipment operator 2 with a class CDL 18.7772 per hour.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Commissioners, I'd also like to hire Ben Souza as our planning and zoning director, which starts out at $53,102.40 a year.
I'll make a motion that we hire Ben Souza as the planning and zoning director at $53,102.40.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Yep.
On my desk. I'll get it and bring it to you. Okay, the next thing I have that I sent out to you was the AMR building over there in Pleasanton. We got a leak in the roof over there that's starting to cause some ceiling damage in there. I'd like to get a contractor over there or a couple of them to come look at it and give us an estimate of what they're going to think it's going to cost to fix that, if you're okay with that, to move forward with that and get that taken care of. I'd also like to put gutters on that building, the way it sets against the property line. There's no room to get behind that building with the property that's directly to the west of it. When it rains, the water runs off and then it seeps under the lean-to part of the building, and we're puddling up under there. So I'd like to get some gutters on it and get those running to the south so they can drain off there, so we can get rid of that water problem. So there's a couple things I'd like to do to that building if you're good with me moving forward on that.
I'm fine with it.
I am.
I'm good with it.
Jesse, do you need to sit down?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
We did have a couple of compactors go down. They are back up and running on that. I had a discussion with an individual who would like to put in a bid for the courthouse roof. So I do have 2 bids here. If we can hold off for one more week to open those, to give that company a chance to turn their bid in also, that'd be great if we could do that.
Is that going to create any issue since we had it posted this way?
Was there a deadline on it?
I don't think we put a deadline on. I think we're going back out to reach out to those contractors to get bids in.
So we didn't have in the bid that it had to be turned in by such and such a date?
No, we did not have a deadline on that. So
All right.
if we can hold off for one more week, I'd really appreciate that.
I haven't seen the publication.
I was going to
Usually there
say,
is a deadline though.
do we
it's
know
possible.
what that looked like in the paper?
I've never seen it, I guess.
I can look at it. I don't have that.
Do you think it ran in the paper?
I thought it did.
I'm okay with holding off till next week to get with,
We need to make sure what the paper says. Yeah,
we need to make sure we ran it in the paper. Probably.
Yep.
Just let us know a little bit. Is that okay?
The Hell's Bend Bridge is open, and the old bridge has been removed and stacked to the side. So that project is just wrapping up on completion up there. They just got a few minor things to dress up the dirt up there and get the old road rehabbed in there, put some seed down on it. So
a lot of stuff to haul off.
there's not a lot. I'll bet we've got 3 trailer loads to haul off. They cut it up for us, so it's not as wide, so we can just put it on the trailer and haul it down and get rid of it. So
Okay.
it won't be too bad to take care of that. This week, I'd like to get approved for any overtime to go back through where we've received the rain this last weekend, so we can get roads back up and where they need to be, if that's something we could approve.
I'm okay with that.
I'm good with it. Our guys wanting to work overtime.
They are, yep, they're wanting to get things.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we allow Public Works to authorize overtime for this week.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have the lease agreement for the city of Parker with the senior center. Jason Weber's here to discuss that if you guys want to discuss that.
Okay. I've never seen that. Did you guys get it?
I
I
did
have-
it last week. I thought we got
Yep,
it.
you guys got it last week.
Okay.
And you didn't like the 99-year.
It was a 99-year lease, and so we waited for Jason.
Okay.
Seen it, but it gets sent to us. That's what I'm doing. Okay, no, I didn't see it then.
Email? Or
It's
drive?
probably in the SharePoint, yep.
Basically, this is a lease that your former counselor sent out to us at the request of the commission at the time. Council took a lot of time to go through it and try to figure things out, was going back and forth between our former attorney and your guys' former counselor. So we actually just did get it gone through at our previous meeting, so we submitted it to you guys and kind of go from there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, will you continue using that building for
Elections.
elections?
Yes,
That's a charge, I guess.
that's correct.
You see this?
Do you know where that's at in the share drive?
Did not find it in the share drive.
I know, I'm not seeing it.
To me. I can load it up there now.
I'm still trying to look it
Jacqueline
up. I
You're
don't
fine.
have it.
You're fine.
Jacqueline emailed it to me. Let me put it in the share drive now.
Okay.
You'll be one up on me because I don't have a copy of it. Our city clerk's been out of office for the last couple of weeks off and on, so.
All right, it's in there now.
Okay, thanks. So I'm not familiar with what the building is. I don't know.
So it's the senior center in Parker. It's,
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know where it's necessarily located. If you guys do, you have any issues with it? I don't like the fact that it was a 99-year lease.
why is that?
I don't know. I just think like, I guess, we own it.
Right.
They're gonna,
What was the lease before? What
there was no
Right.
lease,
We owned it.
We own it. And now we're gonna do a 99-year lease to the city of Parker.
right?
We're gonna do away with the maintenance of it and everything. They're gonna take the building over. We just continue to use it.
We'll pay the property tax and they'll take care of all the maintenance on it.
The Mills program was
Was-
done away with a couple of years ago,
No, last year.
last year.
So we no longer need to be building on a daily basis.
It gives them a community building, keeps something open there so that we're not closing it down, keeps our voting site available, and still provides a service to the community with a partnership between us and Parker. That's how I view it, Ally.
And I believe it states in there at any time the county or the city can cancel the agreement also.
Right.
You guys was to start doing the Mills program out there again. Would be an issue. We use it for our city council meetings, city court. And then we also are the ones that have been taking care of the rental of it for renting it out for events and stuff.
And then the council voted on this, what day?
I don't remember.
You know what the
exactly.
vote was?
It was a 3-0 vote. We only had 3 members there that night. May 12th. Tony was there.
Okay.
We had, I think Mark Hagan drew the contract.
Right.
It's been talked about for quite a while.
Right.
To do it then, but that was before you.
I think we started the process in September, maybe.
I guess as a county, are we just looking to close down sites for food and, I mean, how many do we have left? Pleasanton?
Blue Mountain.
Mound
No.
City,
Mountain City.
Mountain City is, we've been asked multiple times. to
Centerville
help.
still has a site.
So Parker would be the first one that we're just leasing for 99 years. This is gonna be the first of,
They saying we shut down. I mean, they shut it down there. Well,
Yeah, that's now the,
library.
no, the,
Yeah, our
that's
building.
where it's at, but the ambulance went in there.
and it's one in where the hills were. They said.
And the reason those get shut down, Ally, is because when we don't have attendance at a congregate site, by the time we're paying staff and things that way, it doesn't make financial sense to continue in those deals, even though they weren't paying us rent or anything that way for those sites. It's still, you know,
I understand that side of it.
Okay.
I just don't feel like, I've also, let's just take Bunker Hill as an example of people trying to understand, how the meals work? How do we get someone employed? How do we get them operating like Pleasanton is operating? Does it take more volunteers? Does it take more money? We've asked questions on the Meals on Wheels, and then there's been issues of funding of how that's going to work for the future. And I just feel like as a county, we are constantly seeing less resources go to the elderly. And I just feel like this is another example of just gonna sign the lease away, and then it's fine if that's the direction we want to go. And maybe you guys will do a better job of providing services to your community, and that's great.
Well-
But as a county, I just want to make sure, like, did we do everything for Parker and that facility to try to get and reach the people that are there? Did we do what we were supposed to do?
Right. Yeah. And I don't know the history of why we lost the numbers. I mean, I know that we've had a lot of them. The elderly is just passing away, and it's just getting harder and harder to get people to actually come out and do things. But it's one of those things where if we have it, we're going to continue doing everything that we've done with it, with you guys in the past, renting it out to community events and maintaining it. We're looking at some different options of things to do to, maybe give it a better curb appeal. That's something that I've asked for in the past, when we painted all the fire stations in the county. It's like, hey, let's give that building a facelift. But it's stuff that we're looking at doing in the future if this does happen.
Like, to me, it sounds like, again, I just felt like maybe we had failed as a county and like the direction we're going with all of our facilities. And we don't have a vision for that moving forward. And we just keep on pushing, the elderly care things and Meals on Wheels away. And so, yes, you guys might do a better job, but what can we do now, So,
If it's something you guys want to just continue to think about and things, it was brought to us by the
Right.
former commission, and it took me a while to get the council on board with it. I see the reasoning for doing it. This way we still keep it in the community. We don't take a building and we sell it off. One of my things to my council was, if you guys decide not to do this and the county's like, well, we don't need the building, and we put the building up for sale, what does the city then do? because this is where we've had our city council meetings for, I'm going to say at least 20 years. We used to hold our city council meetings in an old church building on Main Street, which is no longer there. So, and the answer that I got to him was, or from him was, we need the building. So,
And that's why you guys are gonna get the funds at the building on rentals. Was you getting it before?
I don't know how all that really worked. I've only been mayor since September, so I'm not sure how all that went. I think that the county got the,
That's what I thought,
Rental
that we was getting, and
funds.
we're actually gonna,
Yep.
they
We
can
were
rent it
just-
out and do what they want with it.
we were just controlling it.
Correct.
We just use it as far as what we was using it for.
Right.
Rent free.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have a problem with that at all.
You know, and if we have, I mean, this keeps it kind of in our inventory. It's just a
Right.
99-year lease. We can always exit the lease alley if we have people desiring and,
It's really not, it really falls back on the direction for the county.
Okay.
For me, for all of the sites, for all of the meals and what we're providing to our citizens.
I see all the sites since I do all the heating,
Yeah.
cooking, maintenance and everything. And it scares me, the numbers. You know, you walk into Blue Mountain and you talk to them and it's like, yeah, our numbers are down. You walk into Centerville, well, Centerville is not doing anything in sight anymore. And then I talk to the people that run the Pleasant one and it's like, we're booming. And you drive by there every day and it's full parking lot.
Yeah, it is.
So it makes you feel good about those. I remember the day when Parker was that way. Back when Lois Hicks, she constantly had a full place. So, but
Yeah, and I've just had people reach out to me specifically about Bunker Hill, trying how do we get this back up and running like Pleasanton. And
Right.
so for me, it was like I wanted more information. I feel like Jason got all that to me. It's just
Right.
now what's the direction?
and I think last week when you guys was discussing it, the counselor not knowing the history of it all and you not knowing the history of it all, and Jason wasn't here last week and Jim knew some of the history about it. But this is, like I said, this is something that we were approached with from,
Right.
He's the one that's brought it to Parker.
I think Danny's the one that originally brought it all up. So,
Do you want to just have Jacqueline review this and we'll vote on it?
has she not reviewed it?
I
You
don't-
said you got it from Jacqueline.
That's correct.
I don't know if she's reviewed it.
Last week she stated she had not reviewed it yet.
Okay,
Are you good with just holding on? Can we
That's
vote on
fine.
this next Monday?
that's fine.
I'm fine
Like I
with that.
said,
Just put it on the agenda
Next
for
week,
next
so
Monday.
give her a week to do
we've
it.
been working with you guys since September on it.
Give us a-
We're not going anywhere and you guys aren't going anywhere, so we're good with it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right?
Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
If I can have a 5-minute executive session with the 3 commissioners and Danielle for employee performance.
5 minutes. Okay. I'll make a motion to go into executive session with Jesse, Danielle, and the 3 commissioners for 5 minutes for employee personnel, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye. We'll return at 10:09.
Oh, sure I can.
You can?
Mhm.
Okay.
You are, okay, thank you.
Oh my, I had to dig my way through just to get you. A lot of folks down there. Yes. We were still blowing on fireworks last night. Yeah. I determined it was gonna blow up before they went home, I guess. I heard pushing the lemon about the park. Excuse me. And I gotta do that. Little late. Quite sure it was washed in there. Yeah. Along the banks there for a while. On the banks, yeah. For some reason, towards us. I'm hoping with it. Yeah.
And when you deal with all cities, now most cities, it's a lot. Which makes sense. Hello?
Thank you.
I may come sit there.
You're always welcome to. Still on.
Yeah. 10:09 now.
10:09.
It's none.
Yep.
No action from executive session.
You asked for Todd to come in to discuss the asphalt. Here's the, not really the dilemma, but we need to prioritize what we want to do. And how much money you guys are going to allow us to spend this year. There are several roads that do need some attention as far as patching a length of an area on those. I know we discussed 1095 about paving it. We discussed the cost breakdown on that. Also 1850 road that comes off at 1095 going east and west. So Todd's come in to talk costs on that, costs on chip and seal. And what we'd like is a number the amount of money we can spend this year, and then pick what our priorities need to be so we can either go out to bid or start doing the work ourselves.
Okay.
Todd, before you start, have you gone over all of the open tickets regarding, okay, so you have a copy, all the tickets that are open with complaints on roads?
Yes.
We have a copy of all of that.
I don't have a copy of them, no, not with
Okay.
me, but I have
Joy.
read and reviewed all of them.
Okay.
So I've got a good idea of what roads, and I've dealt with these roads for the last 2 years. The one at 1,000 and Waddles was starting to have issues last year. Payne Road was starting to have issues last year. The asphalt program was put on kind of a hiatus at the moment due to the flooding.
Right.
And this
Okay.
year it's just getting to be worse.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were taking those into consideration.
On the 1095 project, there is severe rutting from the 152 heading south in multiple places. There is extensive rutting on 1850, and there's actually the surface of the road has blown out back to almost gravel. To figure up the numbers, I read the estimate that Peppercorn sent at 1.4.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was trying to.
I'm thinking if we're going to have a company do 1095, we need to talk to them, see if while they're up there, do 1850 for us, get it taken care of. Going off the numbers per tonnage of what the asphalt's going to cost us to buy from them, that they're going to lay it, I'd say about 275,000 to do 1850. That's with striping. I'm ballparking this.
And that's
How far, how many
a
miles?
mile and a
It's
half.
1.3 miles. It's 1.28 miles actually, but I'd say 1.3 just because a little extra won't hurt to raise. And
That's
give it.
resurfacing.
Yes. And the first 525 foot from 1095 west needs to come up 3+ inches. The road is actually lower than 1095 by quite a bit. And I'd like to see if they could go in and do a flat surface and then put a crown surface on it. That way we can get that road built up, and it would have enough that all the heavy concrete trucks, sewer trucks, all that coming in, they won't have that initial turn on 1850 and it's doing all the damage. A lot of what's happening to that road, I believe, is traffic getting heavier and heavier, and all the increased traffic from Tanglewood growing is just, it's deteriorating the surface. So I'd like that first 525 to be more reinforced with asphalt, and the rest can be overlaid at our standard 1.5 inch. As far as what we've got,
What did we initially do there? Was that just we came over the top of gravel with chip and seal?
that is a chip seal road, yes.
Okay, and about what time frame was that?
Oh, decade better.
Okay.
I don't remember being a part of the project. There are people that are still employed here that were, but a lot of the ones that worked on it,
So 10, 15 years ago, and now we've got the problems where we're going to have to come back in and fix that
Yes.
road.
and
And
I have the same issue. If you go across 1700 from 7 Highway to 1077, I have got massive rutting. I've got the surface of the road being cut off by snow plows because it's just worn down so much. And that was done. I worked on that project, so it's been within the last 15 years on that one as well.
Yeah.
And it's failing. On Waddle and 1000 Road, I'm going to have to mill that down to get back down to that subsurface, and then bring in a layer of asphalt and then cap both lanes of traffic to try to help keep that and keep it from wanting to shift again. I need to do that exact same thing on 566, which is the road that leads to Prescott off of 7. I've got 2 or 3 spots there where the asphalt has slid. I need to mill it down, redo it, and then recap it. That way we're getting something that's going to hold up. Old Petzer Road in Blue Mound, it has dropped 4.5 inches up to 6 in some spots. It needs to be kind of milled down and a cap put on it. So I've got a lot of roads that are breaking on the shoulders. They are failing in the center, and it's just the wear and tear of what it is. I have an account with Bettis set up if their asphalt plant is still at Fulton. If it's not, we have now set up a account with Pearson, who is doing 69 Highway. They are selling asphalt out of their Nelson quarry plant, which is on 54. So I still have an option of close asphalt right now for at least 3 months. Every time we do a patch of 150 foot of hot mix, it is going to cost us $12,000 to $13,000. And it probably costs us more than that now because of the extended length of travel with fuel.
Right.
But I've got 2200 in Yancey, which the bridge approach is bad. I've got 1700 that needs to be done at Iliff Bridge. I've got numerous projects. And then I've got west of Centerville, there's 4 or 5 spots along that I have 4+ inch deep ruts. And if we keep letting them go like this, we're going to end up having a bunch of half gravel, half asphalt roads. And the problem is it's not getting any cheaper to do this. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Okay.
And our chip seal at $23,000 a mile, which is, it's a little over what I believe I originally quoted, which was $22,500. But I want to say 23 just for fuel costs. It will be $575,000 to do the amount we did last year this year. And that's wages, fuel, everything. That's oil, rock.
All right.
When Peppercorn was in, was a week or two ago?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Whenever he left, he was going to go out. He was going to do letting on that, right? Or no? Thought that's what he had said. Do we need to add the 1850 road to that?
Yeah, because it was not.
That's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to add 1850 when they do it.
So we need to get with him to see if we can add 1850 to that to see what the cost is going to be. He's going to put that out, right?
Yeah, we can ask him to put that in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I need to get that back so I know what that's going to be. That's number one. Is that the most important? That
In
road,
my opinion,
95 and 1850.
In my opinion, yes, but that's them doing the work. When it
Yeah.
comes to us doing the work, my first priority is going to be 850 road.
But don't we
And then I'm
know
going to
what
do-
that's going to cost before we move on with what our budget is for him?
Your first is what road now?
The 850 military bridge.
Oh, okay.
The engineer I talked to said the 3 divots that are in there, when we went and looked at it, all of the lines on that bridge underneath, because it was reported that they thought it was a crack. The engineer believes it is a cold seam where they hand poured the bridge when it was originally put in. And the 3 divots line up perfect with the pylon. And in his assumption, he's not saying it is, he's not verifying it. He said his best assumption is the center of that pylon was probably filled with aggregate because of it being a cold pour. And over the years, the aggregate has just slowly washed out, basically. And so he said, we can try to fix it. We don't know. We don't know what the damage is.
But didn't we last week say we were going out for
We applied for that.
applying for the grant? So
Applied
that
for a
could,
$2 million grant for.
Right, but we don't know when they'll
Right.
issue that.
So,
According to the engineer, when I talked to him, he said it would be 2027 before they ever hear anything about it. So when I talked to him about the idea I had of milling it down and then relaying it, he said that's not a bad idea because the asphalt would more than likely hold up to the time that it would take for them to approve and everything else.
okay.
So he gave the okay, as long as I take the asphalt down and I do not raise that up anymore. So that would be one of my first projects, would get that done because of the amount of traffic, and then get 1,000 Waddles done. That would be my second one. Just because of how much traffic runs up and down Tiger Road.
tell you what, I've mentioned this before a lot, but I'll tell you what, that road to Garnett, that they put that other on that, and it's the second year into it, but I'll tell you, that was a good job over in Anderson County. I mean, I run $26,000 a foot or a mile there.
Well, and
That stuff put on.
when I talked to Scott Brost about that, he said the problem we have that Garnett doesn't is Garnett's on 169. The truck's coming straight down. They're right there to come into it. for us, the extra trucking to try to snake across and get to us, he said that's going to add our cost. That's where he came up with the 30 to 35,000 a mile for us.
I just say, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying it's holding up well.
Oh yeah, and it's a
Hey,
Red River.
What did it start out like? Was it
The
as
road
bad
wasn't
as?
in real good shape. I mean, it was
Okay.
rough, but since they put that on there,
Yeah.
I think this is 2 years.
Right.
And
It was,
not to toot our own horn, I'm not taking away from them, but I think Valley looks good. I think Snow Hill looks good. I think our chip seal projects, if we have a good year and it runs great and we don't get dirty chips and we get good oil, I think we do a really good job. And we have chip seal that holds up. The only thing we're having, and I think what's our biggest failure on our road right now is what's causing the bad, is the ruts. I think.
well, there's no comparison in the road from
Right.
Springville going west once you hit the county line.
Right.
And it is falling apart.
Right, and that one they just overlaid. What was that? 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago? They overlaid from the county line out towards Bush City and all that.
Well, they went on west, I think it's been
Yeah.
a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Oh, it's a nice road.
versus ours, it was done the year before
Yeah,
with the chip and seal.
yeah. And I'd like to be able to get it to a point where we can start having more roads that are, that smooth ride and a nice overlay to where we get the ruts taken care of, because then maintenance for us would be a lot less tedious. We would have more ability to keep up with what we have instead of trying to play catch up. But the issue we have is with everything included, it is well over what the allotted budget is for asphalt. The
What's your budget for asphalt?
1.125 is what I was told.
And that's for 2025?
As far as I know,
That's
yeah.
with the 1095 project too.
That's total.
That's my total. That's what I get to play with as far as laying out what I want to try to get accomplished. And if Peppercorn is coming in and telling me that it's 1.4 just to start, my budget's gone. There's no chip seal, there's no patching, there's no. So, and I'm actually $300,000 over.
Okay.
I guess like for me, this comes back to having some sort of project management software. We're getting told all this information. We don't have a clue if, we're going by what you say, which I'm not saying what you say is right or wrong, but a visual of the complaints that we have that's come through Public Works, how many, 1,100 in Waddles, tons of complaints on that. You're saying Colpetzer Road and Blue Mound, 566 to Prescott. We're hearing a lot of things. 1850 Road to 95. I have no visual. I don't know what it looks like.
What's Culpeper, a mile or so? A mile?
Yeah, it's a mile. And the rest of it, other than, for those that don't know, where Mrs. Wright lives, she's right at the end of Main Street. The road has broke out just for a block. So it's 375, 400 foot. But every 150 foot of trying to do something is going to be, like I said, $12,000 to $13,000. And with that being a 4-inch drop, I would have to bring it up in a couple of lifts just to get it back up to what the road surface is. So I would mill it down, do a blend, and then bring it back up. And that way we've got a nice solid surface for it. And with it tying together, we're going to try and keep it. And we're going to have to do some ditch work on that road because the problem is the ditch has been sprayed with kill-all. I believe that was landowner that did it. And it's letting the ground underneath the road kind of slough off. So to be one of those, I'll have to go in and try to figure out what I can do to retain the wall. And then 1077 from Blue Mound going north, 1077 from Blue Mound going south. Multiple roads in our county are getting the deep ruts throughout them. It's not everywhere, but we're getting them in places. And if you hit going north on 1077, before you ever get to 600 road, there's a bad swag that'll drop the car off. And like I said, if you go 1700 across, if you're heading from east to west, the amount of ruts that will take down, I think the last time we measured, they were 6.5 inches deep.
At what point do we get our own milling machine?
At what point did we get one?
do we get one?
Oh, the problem we have there,
Okay.
when I talked to the state engineer down in Parsons, and Franklin and I went down to the paving class down there, and I talked to the gentleman, and he said, if we touch a full-fledged milling machine like what Bettis and all them are using, we might as well just go ahead and rip the road out and restart. Because we do not have enough, we do not have enough surface on chip seal roads to actually warrant something of that nature. So the 40-inch milling head we got is great for patching, but if we're going to try to do a big project, it's going to be a rip it apart and start over from scratch. And that's going to be
More money.
quite expensive.
Okay.
So total budget 1.125 million for 2025, and we're still waiting. We sent Peppercorn out to see what that was going to cost, and then we are possibly going to add 1850 red to that. That's already probably over the budget for 2025. So
Yeah,
what do we have to work
I'm
with?
I'm only estimating on 1850 because, like you said, we haven't sent it out. But going off of the numbers that Peppercorn gave us per ton cost for them to lay it and stripe it, I would probably say you're safe to say 275,000. That would probably be a close enough budget to do both sides of 1850 with a fresh cap and striped.
When will we have that answer back from Peppercorn? Do you know?
I don't, when I get it, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so our other options besides road and bridge are contingency and windfall? What do we have in those budgets?
I don't have an answer for you right now on that.
Okay.
The good thing is Pearson is going to be here for another 3 months. I don't know about Bettis. They said they were assuming they'd be done end of May, beginning of June and have their plant out of there. But I was going to contact them today and find out if they're going to still be in the area and if they're going to be for a while, because I'd like to have multiple avenues for asphalt if we get to go that route. They're closer. It'd be a lot easier to get a truck that's still got hot asphalt on it instead of trying to drive from 54 highway up to Blue Mound, because that's quite a lot of back roads to take and a lot more chance for my asphalt to get cold.
Okay.
I personally would like to see every open ticket in Pub Works that we have complaints on for asphalt. Every open ticket, I want to see it, and I want to know which roads, and then also the ones that you're suggesting that we do. I need to know the mileage, how many miles we're replacing. So is that easy? Okay, you look like you have a paper.
I can get print off of this for you. And I can get it to you. This is basically everything that I have. 568, 566. There's the Blue Mound, 500 Road. The only one I do not have on here is the 1000 and Waddles. And that is something that, and there's the 1850.
Okay.
But on those projects, I haven't included the 1000 Waddle, but it is no different than the 1077 project that we just did, where we had to mill down the existing patch and then go back in and raise it back up. It would be the same. So that's where my numbers come from. So
When you're asking for like the road complaints and things that way, Ali, is that so we can prioritize what goes first, or?
That's one of my suggestions, yes.
Okay. I mean, if he's looking at those and then he's prioritizing them based off of where he feels like is the most dire, isn't that the way we should go?
I just want to make sure every ticket that's been submitted through Pub Works that hasn't been answered is at least he's looked at it, like what he's saying he has, he knows what they are, and most of them are probably going to be solved, right?
yes,
Right. So I just want to make sure.
yes, and I have
Okay,
tickets on
I
there.
agree with him prioritizing.
I have tickets on there that are years old, and it's
Yeah.
issues that I can't resolve right at the moment. Like I have cracking on 566 from 3 Highway back to the east, and it's minor cracking. I can get my crack seal machine out,
Yeah.
fill those in, and then chip seal over. that's one of the roads I'd love to get chip sealed.
I mean,
Okay.
aren't you concerned that we have tickets open for 3 years? I'm sorry. It's to me important that if you're putting in a ticket through Pub Works and it's been 3 years that the county has taken, to me, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying, let's look at it. Let's take care of it.
I
Well,
was just wanting
That-
clarification on how we were prioritizing.
Yeah, I agree. I think we
that,
should
that
prioritize
road,
that.
that road was scheduled last year for chip seal. But as I said, with the flood that happened, we had to put asphalt on and chip seal on hiatus at that time. So we could prioritize getting the roads fixed. This year, that is one of my major roads to get done because of how much oil is showing through. That's another failure that's causing. Once we throw a fresh layer of chips over it and get that, I think that road will be just as nice as any of the others. I've got the road that runs around by the high school, Massey and all that. I want to get that because of the amount of oil that's showing through it. And then I want to do 200 road, or I'm trying to remember what that number is. I think it's 568 or something like that, from 7 Highway back to Blue Mountain. That's a road that the chip seal has not been done for over 5 or 6 years. And it's holding up in places, but it is starting to get wore down. It needs a fresh coating.
And what is your total cost, everything you got?
For everything with the overlay, the chip seal, everything of that nature, or are you just saying the chip seal?
No, everything.
Everything? 2.2.
And that's, so I don't see the numbers on what you wrote out, but I see the tons. Is that what we need to be calculating?
Right.
Okay.
And that right there, that doesn't include, I believe it did include the wages and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. If it didn't, I do have a sheet.
Oh,
that
wait,
shows-
no, it doesn't.
Okay, I do have a sheet that shows the
Fine.
wages, employees, fuel. I have a sheet that will show that also. But with the 1.4, add another 270,000, that's 1.6, almost 1.7. Add the 575 for chip seal. And then the next issue we have on the chip seal is if we're going to do the yellow striping down the middle. If we're going to do the courtesy striping. And that would add another 10,000 plus per mile.
On the numbers on here, that's the priority, right? Or no?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Those roads that I have listed are some of the worst roads. And like I said, I don't have 1,000 and Waddles on there. It needed to be. But I've already took numbers, measurements from it, and I have it wrote down in my other folder.
Okay.
So like I said, I have a list of what I feel is a necessity, and I don't have 1,700 on there, and it is a road that it is in desperate need of work in spots.
Okay. Do you want to add 17 in the Waddles and then put that in?
I would like to see where we can get and see if I can't do something with 17, at least in the deeper ruts,
Okay.
which wouldn't be, I mean, it's going to add cost, but that's something, if I can just fill the ruts in to take away the risk, that's something that can be done more cost effective than taking my paver out. A lot of what we're going to try to fix is going to have to be done with paver. Because once we mill it down and all that, going back in, we're going to need to be able to control the level. And if you want more numbers, I like numbers. So
Yeah, so I can go in, everything I just took a picture of, copy that into text, put it into a document, send that back to you, make sure
Okay.
it's right priority, and then also put the cost next to it because I don't have that. It just has
Right.
the tons. If we could do that by next week, and then also in the meantime, I'd like Jesse to get with Peppercorn to see if we can add that 1850 and get that pricing back. And when they expect that to be back to us, because we need to have that number before we can give you a
Right.
number.
and that's all I'm waiting on right now to get started is I need to know what I've got to play with so that I can figure out what I'm going to get done. That's my biggest thing right now is my hands are kind of tied because if I have to come in and ask every time to do a job, it's going to kind of slow me down on that. And I would like the okay to, if I want to go do 850 and then I want to go do Waddle, and then I want to be able to make that decision and go from project to project to project and just get them knocked out.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I think that we just need some time to put
Okay.
part
And I will,
numbers together.
let me see if I have that other paper here for you. I believe I do. Nope, that is in my other folder, but I will get that and I will send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so our places we can come up with money are what, Special Road and Bridge?
She just sent an email if you want to look at that real quick.
I did just send an email. You had asked about contingency funds and windfall, so I sent you what's in the budget for the 2025 year for that. And then we'll go find special road and bridge.
I'm showing windfall 1.3. Contingency 2.526, right?
That's correct.
Those are separate. So
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what in that contingency is applicable to this scenario.
yeah. So we might have to put some things together as well before we can get a solid answer.
Okay.
But in the meantime, if I can get you to get with Peppercorn soon, we can get that back. Because he was saying it wasn't going to be as high as what he had presented.
That's
publicly, so-
what his number is.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and just put it on the agenda for Todd and Jesse on asphalt next week? You good with that?
That's fine.
Talk about it again. Get some time to
So
review.
what, we've got 690,000 for contingency capital outlay.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
Is there some that you could get started on now that you know is the worst? I mean, if you,
Yes. If I had the ability to go ahead and get started, yeah. I want to wait till the rainy week is over and then I can get out there and start working, like I said, 850 because of all the heavy trucks that go across that.
you guys have a problem with him starting on the ones that's the worst?
I personally don't have a problem with it. It's probably going to rain all week. And then do you think that Friday you would want to get started or you want to just give him an answer? I
would
don't.
I would probably start next Tuesday after the
Yeah.
meeting, just because just trying to get everybody lined out, trying to get trucks lined out, everything like that. Getting a hold of the plant to make sure we can get into the rotation.
I'd say you ought to go ahead and line his work up and get ready. to go.
I feel like absolutely. That
Okay.
would
Where we
be-
get started anyway, because what's the worst? I mean, we're gonna spend some.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I would like to get,
I'm in favor of that as well.
Just get started on it. I mean, because
sounds great. I
That's the
appreciate
only way
it.
we're going to get anything fixed.
we're running out of days.
And to answer your question, Jason, equipment reserve has special road and bridge of 1.242 available.
Thank you.
So if you go ahead and get it lined up, then we'll know something Monday. And
Sounds great. And I will work on getting the cost of what each one of those is going to
Yeah.
be. That way you guys have a better idea of what each project will be. And then from there, I'll get with the other foremans and get trucks lined out and workers
So you're
lined
gonna
out.
start here on this middle
starting
bridge
next-
now,
yes.
not next week. That's what you're,
That's my game plan is if I can get that started, I'd like to get that milled and overlaid next week. And it's going to take me a little bit of time on projects like that to get it milled down, broomed off, and then come back in with the top coat.
Okay. My only other question in regards to how we're paying for this is if we spend the money out of windfall and contingency and then we don't lower those budgets, we're going to have to increase taxes, are we not?
I don't have an answer for you.
Okay,
currently.
that would be my understanding. You know, so just, I mean, I think we need to be aware of that as we go in and are deciding these things,
okay.
you know? So I'm just, you know, if we say we're spending them out of there and then we got to refill those buckets. if we spend it. If we don't spend it, then we can continue operating as is. But I just want everybody to be aware of that.
That's been the issue since I've taken the position is the cost has gone up 80% from when I took over. The Centerville Road from 1,300 to 1,700 was 495,000. Last year, the same mileage was over 700,000. So, and it was the same, and there's no difference really. But that's how much the cost has gone up just for them to come in and do it. It's almost doubled. But the oil, the rock, everything has gone up substantially from when I took over this position. The only thing that hasn't gone up is the budget, and I understand why it can't. But it's getting to a point where if we keep dwindling the wrong direction, we're going to fall into such disrepair that we're going to have to spend even more than that to play catch up.
I get you, Todd.
I'm not trying to make it hard on you guys. It's just,
Nope, I understand. So I think the main thing is that we understand the ramifications of what we do as well on the budget side. Okay.
How much time do we need to go over that? Like understanding the budget, or do you want to deep dive the budget and how much we can allocate for these projects? Is it something we need to put some time into, or is it something you want to work on? I definitely want to put everything in a document. I would like to start with that with you. I can easily do that. So let's get that started and like how much it's going to cost for each road. So
Right.
I'll send that out to Danielle so you guys can see that.
Perfect.
As far as like the budget goes, somebody needs to be working with her to try to
Okay.
figure
I
out.
would be happy to.
Would you be able to do that? Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Does that work?
I just want to make sure like when he comes back in, like we're actually solving.
I understand. Yep. I'm in favor of that. Are you okay with that, Jim?
Good.
I like the idea, guys.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks,
No
Todd.
problem.
We'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week. Thank you.
You have anything else for me?
I
We got
think
everything on your executive session's taken care of, don't we?
Yep.
Okay. So that's it.
I
Jesse,
think I'm good.
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
You want to open up your public comment? You guys good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
We'll open up for public comment now. If anybody has a comment, step to the podium, please.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sheriff James Akes, Linn County Sheriff's Office. I want to read something to you. It's kind of come to our attention and just kind of bring up some numbers, specifics to what we've been doing. There have been some question about the Sheriff's Office activities in specific areas. Since being elected, I wanted a strong community presence from the Sheriff's Office in all communities and areas of the community. It has come to my attention that some residents don't see us or don't believe that we are out in the community. Other residents have said there are drugs in the community and dangerous people coming in and out of the communities. Unfortunately, this is a problem that plagues the entire United States. We are currently noticing less calls in communities that had a higher than normal call volume. We can only contribute this to more activity by the Linn County Sheriff's Office and the Patrol Division. Currently, the numbers, as of today, we have total call for service just for the Sheriff's Office alone is 7,973. This also includes the areas that I want to focus on, which is your community patrol, which is 1,696 of those 7,973. Area checks for 645 and building checks were 180. With these numbers in mind, it should be noted that these patrols, it should be noted that with these patrols, we have received a lot of community support. The community enjoys seeing us in their community. Community patrols are not done at a specific time and are random throughout the day and night. With this being said, just because you don't see us, it doesn't mean we are not there. The bad guys have figured this out and have been avoiding small communities. If anyone calls regarding criminal activity, the call should be referred to my office. Calling anyone but the sheriff's office to make complaints about criminal activity is not the proper way to address the criminal problem. The numbers should speak for themselves, and I am extremely proud of the deputies with the hard work and determination they provide to keep this county safe. I want to let you know this because we had received several comments. Well, what are you doing about this? What are you doing about that? The numbers are there. We are in the areas that we touch on specifically that was brought to our attention specifically to the sheriff's office, 100 in Gorman, Tanglewood, all that. These numbers are in there. I can break these numbers down to show you how many times we're at 100 in Gorman, or we're at Tanglewood, or that we're in Blue Mountain, but I don't feel that I need to because the numbers are there. And we are showing our presence. It's just because I want the community to know that just because they don't see us, it doesn't mean we're not there. We're there 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. We're getting the criminal activity. We're arresting the people. They are coming to jail. Okay, so it's just a little information for you. But I specifically want to stress, if anybody's getting calls and they're saying that there's criminal activity or there's drugs or anything, it's not getting addressed at the sheriff's office, and it has to come to the sheriff's office if they want resolve. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
I haven't had any complaints,
Thank you,
so
Sheriff.
thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? We'll close public comment. Scott Lloyd, the budget.
All right, I shared a copy of the contract from Scott Lloyd with you guys in your SharePoint. I did get the information from Joyce Wilson to do the small entity budgets. Here's a copy of those for you guys. So I'm giving you Scott Lloyd's numbers again, and then giving you the second page with Joyce's.
These are copies. Okay, okay. Sorry.
Joyce Wilson, she's been the city clerk for Olpe, Kansas for over 20 years, and she's prepared the city's budgets for all those years. She's also prepared their county's 24 small entities, which include cities, townships, fire districts, for Linn County for the last 10 years. She's confident that she could put these budgets together for our entities coming here. I've already reserved the commission meeting room for the evenings that she is available to come down. I've communicated with the small entities that she is an option, that I will be here learning the process and being involved so that in the future I can be more of a support to them.
Okay, and so the Scott Lloyd is on top of the 25,000.
That is correct. Scott Lloyd provided information that if we were to use him or suggest him for the counties, the small entities, sorry, he would be charging.
That's above the
amount that you quoted here.
25. Yes.
Keeping in mind that the prior clerk was only charging $30 per entity to help them with their budgets.
So there's roughly 20 of those, so it'd be $600. So we talked about as far as helping the entities out with it the first year.
Okay,
I don't know. We talked about that last week.
so
Just to clarify, Scott Lloyd and Joyce, they're if you look at the type or the name, they're all there. They're just in different format, different
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. So I don't know, maybe was he not here when we talked about this last week? I can't remember. Okay. So basically, Scott Lloyd was going to be on top of what we had already planned on. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that small entities don't have to do anything that you say. They are in control of their own budgets. They get to spend according to what they want to do. This is just an available option
So-
that I can share with them.
Okay, and we have other entities throughout the county who do their own budgets
That's correct.
and things that way, and how is it,
Like,
how if we continue to subsidize these entities, are we providing a disservice to the ones that are taking care of their own?
so this is just a list of the entities that David was helping.
Correct.
David, help.
Other cemeteries, other library districts were doing it themselves or outside of the county's involvement as far as using the clerk.
I'm talking about whether we pay for it or not.
Sure.
So in the past, they paid David $75,
$30.
$30. So
That went to the clerk's office.
what we were thinking
That's correct, and it was deposited into the general fund.
was that they would still pay the 30.
Okay,
Danielle is going to be learning, hopefully, how Joyce is doing this, and then in the future, we would eliminate Joyce,
okay.
but get Danielle up to speed on how to budget these townships.
No, I'm completely on board with that. I'm just, I mean,
Do you feel like we should reach out? What are the other entities that are doing their own? Do you know?
City of Lacine District 1 Library. Those are just two that I can recall off the top of my head.
You
No,
would you
I'm-
know a list of those that are doing on their own, or
we see costs going up on everything. I'm sure we haven't raised that $30 forever, which is why it's $30.
That's correct.
I mean, it's not like we're asking them to pay the 18,750 out of their budgets. I'm just, if we're going to continue to prepare their budgets and things that way, I think,
fine with raising the cost? I think that while doing that, are you thinking that we should also reach back out to those who are taking care of their own? To see
I think they are perfectly capable of
Okay.
taking care of their own. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Not
just,
asking for more work is what you're not.
That's-
Exactly.
no,
I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying that, fair and equitable to everybody. I'm sure that the ones that are doing it themselves are paying more than $30.
Well,
Is
can we
Joyce-
reach out?
I was gonna say, is Joyce charging? What is she charging Olpe or that county? Do you know?
I don't know.
I was just wondering, is she charging the 125 to a township possibly? Is that like a guide that we should really be following?
I do know that she has built in a little bit of cost for her time and travel. This is coming out of her evenings, and this is coming out of her driving from Lyon County to here.
Would you guys like to see what it would be with like time and travel taken out of that? What she would cost it or charge if she was just doing that, if she was the clerk here?
Okay. So
Or
that
do
we
you-
could
So
piggyback her rates, so to speak.
Just piggyback on what
Yeah.
it'd be if it was in her county.
I mean, if other counties are billing higher than $30,
And you're saying ours has been 30 for quite a while, probably.
That's correct. David has charged 30 for a long time. Keeping in mind that it is an elected position, and even if you said, Danielle, you have to charge this much, I don't have to.
Okay.
But it would be,
But
I do want it to be fair and equitable, if the city of Lacine is paying for, and I know they do pay a CPA to come and do their budgets because it's in their documents that they have to submit to the clerk's office for budgeting.
right.
I would be okay with moving forward with hiring Joyce. But do you even need our permission on this? Okay.
Just if you wanted some of the county funds to go toward this, that's what you would be involved in. This is just information.
So the only thing,
And so, do we want county funds to be involved in this, or are we just gonna pass these fees right along to them
well, I think that using Joyce,
and then
what
if
I'm
we
hearing
can
is
bring
it has
back,
everything to do with the clerk. So if you want
You're
to
the one in
charge,
charge of it, is what you're saying.
you're just letting us know.
Correct.
okay. But she's saying that if we approve to pay part of it, we can. If we say no, then they're gonna pay the full
Out of
freight.
their own budgets, correct.
That's where she's asking for our input. That's what I'm saying, correct?
That's
Danielle.
correct. Yes.
whether we're going to pay part of the $3,025 or not. And it would be my feeling that they should handle their own budget fees. That we shouldn't step in there. We've worked to try to make sure we didn't have the other, you know what I mean? Danielle did her job in trying to find us another option that was more cost effective.
I agree. My only question would be, would you want to go back and say, what would you charge taking out the travel and the time? And then we would take care of Joyce's travel.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And then you would be able to charge the townships what her estimated rate would have been, right? Does that make sense?
I could.
What are your thoughts? You know,
I would also say, you know, as far as Jason saying fair and equitable, getting with the city of Lacey and seeing how much their CPA charges just for the travel time. Are we willing to reimburse that part of their travel time if we're going to reimburse her travel time? Does that make sense?
How many of them are actually doing like Lacey does, you know?
I don't know.
I guess I don't, never thought of that.
Well, I wonder. Let me see. I might be able to find out real quick.
And I mean, we're not saying it's going to stay here forever at this rate and things that way, that you'll come up with your rate that you think is fair on preparing these budgets as the comfort level goes up. This is just kind of a stopgap to make sure that we're getting things going and that you're up to speed and that everything's going to go good. Right?
Correct.
So I think it should be just passed along to the townships and cemetery districts and cities that are using that service at that rate.
do you feel like we're gonna get the budget, that they're gonna have a line item for the fee? I mean, they give us, we approve their budgets, right?
No.
No,
We don't approve their
They
budgets.
just get,
they're piggybacked onto
they're
our
just
budget.
piggybacked? Okay.
We do not approve their budget. We do not have anything to do with their funds.
Because they get their funds from,
The same place we
Taxpayers.
do, yes.
Whatever, yeah, whatever the,
In their township, in their cemetery district, in whatever they have from that standpoint. Right?
That's correct. So the library would submit their budget to the city, and then they would be piggybacking off of the city's budget, having that absorbed into their. It has nothing to do really with the county, other than they have to submit it to the county clerk per statute.
So that we can have an inclusive, so we can show the people what everything is and so that it's going to the treasurer, so that it's, because that's where everything's collected.
And that's where they find out, you know, what their mill rate is through the clerk's office.
Right.
I would love to have a workshop on townships and cemeteries and what that costs, where those funds are calculated. When we had Miss Vaughn come in here the other day and she wanted to sell the old schoolhouse, I feel like we didn't have a good answer for her. We all were kind of like confused. I'm confused on why and how a district or a township would maintain a cemetery or not maintain a cemetery. If those are all just tax funds, I guess those are elected positions too, right? In the townships, so they can still do whatever they want to do. in that
Elected,
township with that
appointed.
money, right?
right, it's elected or appointed, yeah.
Depends on if nobody ran.
We have no control over what they do in their townships.
I've just had a lot of people reach out to myself, and I've talked to people about the cemeteries and what are we doing as a county with the cemeteries? How are we moving forward with how we are taking note of who is buried where? A lot of counties like Riley County, they're digitizing all of this information. I think that as a county, I'm just trying to understand, like, where are we going with that? Are we just,
Each cemetery
No one's
district gets to handle
maintaining.
it the way they want to. I know, for example, Curie Cemetery, they do ask you to buy a plot and it's put in the registered deed books, but it's not
Right.
required to be done that way.
but
It's best
county,
practice, but
it
it's
is
not
best
required.
practice, but that's not how they do it in Valley Township either. So you have people that are buying plots throughout the county that are not being recorded as a deed, and then you have questions, and some people are coming in, like township presidents, they'll come in and they roll out a map of where people should be buried, and then it's very ancient, and I feel like we need to help them move forward if
I mean, there
It's
is
a
a community
possibility.
available for the cemetery districts to get involved in and get those better practices. I can collect some of that information about, training opportunities and essentially though it's outside of the county's hands because we let them govern themselves.
They have their own entity. They have their own taxing authority. They have their own.
I
Stuff.
understand that, but I do know that there are other counties that are hands-on. For example, Riley County.
And are they set up this exact same
I-
way?
I will look into that.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Are they county and cemeteries or?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
I think that could be a difference that may exist out there.
So moving forward, Scott Lloyd did send a copy of the contract. If
Yep.
you have read it and approve of it, I would need a motion and a signature from each of you.
I didn't have any questions in regards to it.
So this is coming out of our budget, not the clerk's budget.
Correct.
The last page. What
I've
else
got it on my
was that
computer.
in there?
Effective immediately. Yeah, this would come out of courthouse contractual.
We have one in
Right. We have budgeted 160,000, and then capital outlay for the courthouse is 20,000.
Any issues, Jim?
I don't have any.
I'll make a motion that we enter into do the acceptance letter for the Lloyd Group LLC at $25,000 plus travel, word processing, postage, travel. For the 2026 budget.
I'll second that. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, just need to sign that one.
I just need to sign this.
The back page of that.
Aye.
That we all do.
There it is. Okay.
Thank you.
That's the end of that. So
That's correct.
we have Jim Hendershot, Tanglewood Roads.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. As you know, over the past few weeks, there's been multiple people from Tanglewood come before you, including myself, requesting some type of an official statement or position from the county as to whether the Tanglewood roads are private or public. At the last meeting, Commissioner Hamilton motioned and Commissioner Johnson approved to refer back to Resolution 2014-16. I would like an explanation of just how Resolution 2014-16 applies to anything that we've been talking about leading up to this point. That's my question. How does that apply? Why does referring to that have anything to do with what's been presented to the commission as a request from your citizens?
We've been advised not to address anyone regarding Tanglewood Lakes because everything's pending litigation at this point.
I've made no.
But this particular resolution was referred to because we are stating, like we stated last week, that the roads are privately owned and maintained.
Ma'am, have you read that resolution?
Yes, I've read it.
It
And
enacts
we're not going to make any more comments regarding it.
it enacts the standard traffic ordinance is all it does, and gives the lakes an opportunity to have private roads enforced by the local sheriff's office as if they were public. That's all it does.
It's the correct resolution, and our attorney has advised us not to speak on the situation pending litigation. So that's where we're at.
I've made no threat of litigation whatsoever.
That's right, Jim, but you're not
That's
the
why
only
we're
person
standing
involved.
right now.
I understand that. I completely understand that. It just seems, in my opinion, that last week's referral was a delay tactic.
Okay.
Going back through the minutes that led up to the adoption of 2014-16, it had to do with code enforcement. Had nothing to do with public or private roads or whatever. And all of a sudden, the attorney at that time, I believe his name was Thompson, says, well, you need to adopt this standard traffic ordinance. Standard traffic ordinance has nothing to do with code enforcement. So those delay or stalling tactics appear to be multiple years old on addressing roads at Tanglewood that has been an issue for many years. I understand your counselors advised you not to respond, and I respect that. I just personally do not agree with what you did last week as if that it had anything to do. It just seems like a delay tactic and a stall, hoping that the people of Tanglewood will go away, and I assure you we're not.
Right.
Probably see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Gazebos.
Want me to get Jesse?
Yeah.
Or do you want to table it again? Jesse?
Can we take a 5-minute recess?
Sure.
I'll make a motion. We take a 5-minute recess.
We'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll return at 11:14.
Sorry, Jesse.
back in session. Go ahead, Jesse. Not the gazebo.
What do we want to discuss about the gazebo? I'm not real sure what we're after.
What's on here?
The commissioners asked it to be tabled for a month, and today's the day that it's done.
Today's the day. Okay.
Been so much research.
Public meeting? Pardon me.
It's fine.
It's okay.
What do we want to do with the gazebo out there? It's in pretty rough shape as it is. It's being held together with,
Balin.
Hose
or-
clamps.
okay.
the foundation that it sets on seems to be very stable, so
But the bid was 50 some hundred to fix it.
It was more than that, I thought.
Then that was without the roof, right?
That's correct.
Have we done anything as far as putting yellow tape around it or something that way to make sure we don't have a liability issue?
we've discussed that. Danielle and I went and looked at it when she told me it was held together with hose clamps. We went out and looked at it. I think we ought to take it down. If it's going to be a safety hazard, we've got to put caution tape on it. I think we ought to just take it down and then look at maybe erecting a new one in the same position. Same
Okay.
thought.
All right, so today I had previously met with a company called Gordian, and they basically, I'm gonna meet some of the guys that are coming here today, and they come in, and they would do like the procurement and the resource, like as far as the RFPs and that whole process. They do it's free to us, no matter when we use them, it's free.
And this
However, So it's for RFPs. It's anything construction related, not roads, nothing like that. Like if we were taking down a building, like we put out for RFP on taking down that
Yep.
old annex or whatever it was,
The-
old judicial.
yeah, the county attorney's
So we
building.
put those in the paper, right? We don't have a lot of options as far as like how we're reaching right now. I know like moving forward with the new website, we might have like a vendor portal that
Right.
we had talked about. But in the meantime, there's this company that they come in, they'll do everything, the RFPs, put it out, put it to their people, and then they give all the RFP information back to us. We can still put it in the paper. We can still see who locally is submitting an RFP as well. However, if we do open all the bids and we choose someone from their company that they had provided, that's how they make their money.
They get a percentage.
Yeah.
Of the bid? Or do we,
I mean, that's not,
They- Sounds like they get a finder's fee.
it's like a, yeah.
just a flat fee? Okay.
But that would be included. I mean, it wouldn't be anything that we would have to come out of our pocket for. So they're coming today.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
They're going to come today. They're supposed to be here at 2:00. And this is just something that I was going to walk and I talked to Jesse about it. They're doing it for free so that you can just see how their software and everything works. It's not that we have to use them this time. It's not that we have to do anything with this company. They just want an opportunity to show you like how they can do it. So if they were to walk and do the gazebo today, let's say they do one on the courthouse and one on the gazebo, you can see how and what RFPs, like what type of information you're going to get back from the people that they use. That's not saying we can't put it in the paper as well. It's not saying that we can't have bids submitted locally. It's just another option because I feel like we're not getting bids back from local contractors. Not enough.
Right. We would like to have multiple bids
Just to
on
see.
projects to make sure that everything's on the up and up, right?
Exactly. So I wanted them to come in and kind of do this so you guys can see it on what that looks like. And he would like to come in and present that in a week or so,
Okay.
if that's okay.
I'm all right with that.
Good with it.
I like
If
it,
you
Ally.
want him to do the gazebo while he's out there. I'm sure that's not a big deal. Even do one for repairs and one for demo. And then also, I mean, if you want to,
When you're talking demo, are you talking about us having somebody do it, or are you talking about us just taking care of it?
Either way, it's not going to take much to.
yeah.
That's why I'm asking that.
I mean,
So I
a
mean,
day
we're
like
not
today,
going out for bid on it. We're just doing it ourselves.
like a day like
Yeah.
today,
Then
I could have road crew out there taking it down and hauling it off.
I think for me, I would just like to see what could this company bring back to us from what we haven't seen maybe in the past.
I understand that.
Obviously, taking it down would be super simple for us to do that. Is that the direction we want to go? It is kind of
Eyesore.
well, I wasn't gonna say eyesore. I was
Oh,
gonna
well.
say like I feel like people drive by and that's something that they look at. The kids are always like going out there when they do field trips and sitting in their gazebo. So I mean, if it's something that could be repaired, I'm fine with that. But if it's not, then I'm also okay with taking it down.
I think I'd like to take it down and just put a new one in there, just build on top of what we got there.
Okay, I'm
So, I
in
mean-
favor of that.
As far as like
So we would have
this
them
company
get
coming and we can give an estimate on, okay, repair estimate, or demo and rebuild,
Okay.
new construction. And then, or just new construction, have it all separated out. That's fine.
Is the cement
If
good
you
enough?
I think cement's good enough. We can put anchor bolts back in it. And
In the meantime, I feel like caution tape would look
Very tacky.
a little tacky, but
Just-
it is pretty bad. But if it's only a week, I guess you could put.
Okay,
do we
so
have a
we're
sign
not
that's
we're
like,
not gonna
do
tear
not
it down.
enter?
We're not gonna tear it down.
I think we should wait a week, but only because I would like to see what this company can provide as far
Okay.
as like RFPs. But your recommendation is to tear it down.
When you go out there with your people, you can stand next to it and just push on those, what are the pylons?
I've been up there. I agree. I just do we have any other signs that are like do not enter or anything like that?
A barricade?
we've got some barricades we could probably put up.
Okay.
Caution tape, flashing lights.
Flashing. No, let's not put lights. That might take forever. to get back down.
Oh, we won't hang them. We'll just make sure they're on the steps so we can pick them up.
Battery operated, solar operated. I
I got an excavator we can park in front of it. You want to wait a week then and then
I'm
then
good
take
with
it down,
just
or
waiting a week, and then I would be open to making a move on Monday on the building.
Okay.
Because I'm sure we'll hear a lot of feedback from citizens probably this week on not wanting it to go down. So I'd like to have a plan in place before we just demo it and nothing gets repaired.
I think putting something up that looks pretty similar would be a good way to go with it.
I would just like to have, before we're like, let's take it down, let's make
Okay.
sure we're all in agreement that we're going to put something else back up.
It's fine. I'm good with that.
I'm good with it too.
Just let's do gazebo next week as well. Circle back. Jesse,
Next week is looking pretty full, especially with our workshop.
do you want to move the gazebo 2 weeks, Jesse?
That's fine.
Are you guys okay with that though?
Yes.
Okay. So June 9th?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is that on gazebo? Did you want to let him speak?
Yeah, we got this here and then
Okay.
that's, you want to do planning and zoning? You have your member now?
Yes, I can if you want me.
Do that and we'll go to
I move that we appoint Connie Gore to Planning and Zoning from Rural Lacine.
Gore.
Yep, Gore.
Just one.
That's all I have at the moment, yes.
I make a motion that we appoint Connie Gore to planning and zoning.
You want to second my motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, yeah, I didn't know you made a motion. I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. I wrote her name down. Sorry.
Okay. You Matthew Winfrey?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to come up, step, podium, state your name, please?
Good morning. I'm Matthew Winfrey. I bought property in Mound City about a year ago. It took me about 2 years to acquire the property. It took me that long to find a place that I might like. Last August, I come down to this county annex and got a driveway permit to put in on my property. And nothing ever became of that. I took care of the property easements on my property for the last year. Nobody takes more pride or takes care of their property more than I do. I've used the same property access for almost a year from the County Road 600. Friday, I had a Linn County Sheriff's supervisor and 2 Linn County deputies come to my property because Mark Denham of Sugar Valley Lake Community said that I had destroyed a fence on their property. Upon conclusion, the sheriff, the supervisor, realized that I had been using a driveway that I had put in for from the county over a year ago because the property had no access. That property had no access for a year other than the property access I gave it. I was gone for about 6 or 7 weeks, mid-February to mid-March. When I came back to my property to clean up and do some work, I had a fence going right through my driveway. The driveway that I had been using for almost a year. So I cut that fence out and I come back down here to the annex and I put in another driveway permit for my property. I was given this piece of paper, which is almost touted as law for SVL. Who do you work for? Do you work for the citizens of Linn County or do you work for HOA at SVL? This is a property dispute between me and a homeowners association that has absolutely nothing to do with county obligations to its citizens regarding easements, right-of-ways, and eminent domain. I don't see why I'm being denied access to my property from the county road when I've been using said access for over a year. The reason why I wasn't arrested on Friday for destroying private property is because said property is mine. I actually own that easement more than the HOA does because it is on my property and I care for it. Friday, 20 minutes after the sheriff had left, magically a maintainer shows up and cuts in a temporary driveway on my easement. I'll be darned, that only took about a year, didn't it? And it only took a little bit of drama, didn't it? I'm here to exercise my rights and resubmit my application. I want to know who the county works for. Does the county work for its citizens? Or does the county work for the HOA at Sugar Valley Lakes? My neighbor has access to the county road, and so does hundreds of other people that live in this county. Utility easements and county easements on adjoining properties are owned by property owners, and property owners have existing rights that HOA does not. I want to know why my driveway permit is denied for 600 County Road, and I want to know why Linn County is not fulfilling its obligations to its citizens.
For me personally, this is the first I've heard of this situation. What was the address again?
6 South Sumac?
6 South Sumac.
Yes, ma'am.
Right off of 7 Highway.
Right off of 7 Highway, but 7 Highway is a non-issue. We're talking about County Road 600, which I am legally authorized to access. HOA at Sugar Valley is trying to hold me up over a utility easement, which again, Evergy doesn't have a dog in this fight. That's more my property than it is SVL's. If the SVL doesn't like it, if their community doesn't like it, I really don't know what they can do other than legal litigation with me. But this has absolutely nothing to do with the county. This has nothing to do with the county. This is between me and SVL HOA. All I need is for the county to step up and do their job.
And give you access.
All the county has to do is put a culvert in on the county road so that I can have access to my property. Whatever else happens is between me and the HOA. This has nothing to do with the involvement with SVL and Linn County as a whole.
Okay.
I find it egregious that I have to be threatened with arrest and wait almost a year to come down here and publicly speak to have anything happen, and still go home today and be in fear of, am I going to get a driveway? Is someone going to come after me for legal litigation for exercising my rights? For exercising my rights. I shouldn't have to defend myself exercising my rights.
Is it in Sugar Valley?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have a corner lot. I am on 607 Highway.
I've got the map pulled
Yeah,
up.
I've got it pulled up too. I was trying to understand.
Now, this imaginary gray road that shows up on your map was literally just cut in Friday. I had been using county road access for a year. Nothing but pasture and field surround my corner lot until Friday.
Do you know where he wants the culvert put in at?
Have an idea, yes.
Have you submitted anything to planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning? I have submitted
Or
my driveway permit to the
Just the
county.
driveway permit? Okay.
Just for the culvert. I could have already had the driveway in and taken this up with SVL months ago. And they would have come to realize too.
Can we go into executive session with legal and talk about it with Jacqueline? I mean, he needs an answer, so I'm not familiar with the permit.
I think we need to have our attorney look at it. I think there's been attorney
I've
look at
had
it.
several discussions with her.
I think there's been several discussions with the attorney over this deal.
Okay.
That's the first I've heard of it personally.
Me too.
So can we go in for 10 minutes to discuss it so we're up to speed on what's happening so we can address his concerns, give him some answers? Can you wait?
Jesse's coming back.
Yeah, Jesse. Commissioners and legal. Do you have the permit? Can you pull it up?
Desk.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for legal with our attorney, Jesse, and the 3 commissioners for 10 minutes.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Return at 11:43.
Well, I guess it's gonna be all those the rest of the morning.
Well, no, we think it's.
Right.
But we know.
Right. Well, I have to because there's a ditch, and so they have to cut it in culvert.
Okay.
There is no action from executive session.
Okay, Matthew, there was not, we didn't take any action. However, I'll try to explain this to the best of my ability per our legal. So there is an application process as far as the driveway. But with our application process, you need to bring to us approval from the HOA that they're going to allow that you put that access, that driveway access on the county road.
Incorrect. Incorrect.
Let me finish what she said and then we can jump back to what you have concerns on. Okay. So access to the road. So it's governed by the Constitution and the bylaws of the HOA, right? So you purchase the property and you have to go into Sugar Valley to get to access to your property, but you're wanting us to do the driveway off the county road,
Purchase
correct?
of property does not negate, it does not negate, there's not a contract between me and Sugar Valley because I bought the property.
But it's within.
There's
is it
there's
within
implied
Sugar Valley?
consent, there's implied regulations, there are guidelines. None of this is law. I didn't sign or agree to anything when I bought that property. This real, I don't need a letter from the school teacher to play on the playground. This is ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous. I need the county to step up and do their job. This is between me and the HOA, not Linn County. And also, likewise, this is between SVL and Linn County, not Matthew Winfrey, Linn County, and SVL. No, this is unacceptable. I have not entered into any agreement with SVL. That's besides the point. The point is I need access to the county road, and you're telling me that Linn County is telling me that it's not up to Linn County? You're telling me that your road is not up to you. You're telling me that the county easement on my property is none of your business? I've got to go through a third party, a private entity in your county. Are you serious?
Well, the way I understood it, correct me if I'm
What
wrong.
we're
is
saying
that
it is, there's an entrance into your property.
There is now, and it's been there for 72 hours. What about the last year? I mow that easement. I take care of that easement. I've been using that same driveway for 10 months. 10 months. Just because they cut a road in on Friday doesn't have anything to do with the price of rice in China. I don't care if they put a road in there. They can put another road coming in on the east side of the property. I don't care. The fact of the matter remains the county needs to do their job in this position. The county's responsibility is to put in a culvert on 600. That's the only obligation the county has here. You do not need a permission slip from an HOA for your road. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's your road. This isn't even a discussion. The only discussion here that I have is with SVL. I'm going to have a conversation with them, but that has nothing to do with the city or the county. I don't understand. You are obligated to put that culvert in. If the HOA doesn't like it, they're going to have to take me to court and tell the judge why they don't like it and take it up with me, but it has nothing to do with the county fulfilling their obligation.
Well, that's where we stand with our decision right now. We're not.
Okay, so your attorney advised you that I need a permission slip from HOA. So you're honestly telling me I'll have to file suit with the county and have the judge tell you to do your job? I'll have to have a judge tell the county to do their job,
If that's how you understand it.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I understand the law pretty simple. I mean, I understand this.
Let's get everything printed out. Let's get all the commissioners, all the copies of everything. Get with Jacqueline next week. Go over it one more time. She'll be here next week. Let's make sure we're making the right decision with
This is the wrong decision.
Okay, I understand that's your opinion on that, and we're also going off of what Jacqueline's advised us to come out here and say. Obviously, she's not here today, so I would like to just review everything, make sure I know all the paperwork that you've sent into us, the permit, the application, I just want to review everything. We'll get your phone number and we'll call you. We'll put you on the agenda again. I think we're busy next week though, aren't we?
Next week's pretty busy.
Can we review it for June 9th? Is that acceptable?
That's acceptable.
Do 11:15? I would like time to go over that and have multiple conversations with other individuals.
That's fine. I'd really like the county to just step up and do their job in this. That's all. You know, I ain't trying to step on anybody's toes. This is a driveway. Now, if this was a 25-foot high hot pink chicken coop or something, this would make perfect sense. But this is a driveway to private property. I've been using the same driveway for almost a year.
I'd like to drive out there too and just take a look, and if you just give us some time, well, Danielle's gonna get your phone number so we can contact you, let you know. But right now it's gonna be June 9th at 11:15,
Same place.
right here.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you?
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you for
Did
your
you
time.
write? Oh.
I've got it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Never mind. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the fence viewing request.
I put that in your SharePoint, commissioners. I can put it on the screen if you'd like.
I would like it on the screen. I would have liked his on the screen.
Oh, so I could have done that.
No, it's okay. I could have done it too. I just didn't know exactly what he was wanting. So
Has Jacqueline been notified any of this?
The fence viewing?
Yeah.
She has access to your SharePoint, but I haven't shared it with her directly,
Okay.
so my answer is probably not.
Appears to me that it didn't, what, a legal fence, it's there. Is that the way you get it?
That's the way the thing, I haven't been out and
No,
viewed
I
it.
know, but that's just the way it's,
Yeah.
All right, so we are looking at this property here just off of 7 Highway,
Yep.
between 1800 Road and 7 Highway. We're looking at the portion of fence that is right about here in the middle of this.
So it's not moving. We have 280-acre tracts.
Here we go.
There we go.
All right, so this road here is 1800. This is
Yes.
7 Highway.
Yes.
This is Charles Self's property. He's
Yes.
the one that's asking for the fence viewing.
That is not the next one over to the north. There is Isabel's.
Yes, here.
Nope. It's in the middle. Not that one. There's one right there. That's
Oh,
their
this-
house.
Yes, you're correct. Sorry, I did circle the wrong one. Charles said that he has cattle in his pasture and his neighbor on the other side of the fence is not doing his fair share to maintain the fence. He would like us to come out there and enforce fence maintenance.
oh, well, I didn't know you could do that. Can you do that with the wildlife refuge?
I don't know. This is the first time I've navigated this process. It's been explained to me that in the past, Jim and Rose kind of talked to me about it, how you guys pick a time and a location, and I
we
tell
pick a time and we go out, and then we need to,
both of those individuals, this is when we're coming to your property. I think Charles said that we'll meet in his driveway and he'll drive us to the back of his pasture so we can see the fence.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's in like a golf cart or a 4-wheeler or a pickup truck. I have no idea what this is gonna look like.
Tractor.
We're
Sit
going
in the
on
back of
Tractor
the
and wagon.
We're going on an adventure.
get the walk.
Hey, wear your mud boots, Allie.
No worries. Tell me the day. Believe it or not, I have them, Jason.
Good. I wasn't doubting you.
I do not.
Just was telling you that it might be a little sloppy back there.
Okay, I'm ready.
So
What day were you thinking?
that's gonna be up to you.
Next week's busy, is it? So,
I would suggest the soonest you'd want to consider is probably June 16th.
okay.
Okay, and so we'll close our meeting and then go
Go
to
out.
there at a specified time or what?
That's what we've.
And then
done
we're
before.
also going
Okay.
to have both property owners notified that we'll be there, so they have opportunity to both be there, right?
I'll send certified mail so that I know both of them are notified
Okay,
of when we will be coming. And the other person involved in the situation, Mark Isabel, he's not required to be there, but he's strongly encouraged to be.
We probably ought to have our attorney there, which she won't be here that week probably unless we request her to, but on the 2 week from here, but we should request.
Yeah, we can go out
So
there.
do we
can take
need to-
pictures. We can
do we
video
need to push it to the
while we're on this
23rd?
meeting, too.
Or we could push it another week later if you want to. and then
That way she's there.
Okay.
right?
So in the past, you guys have,
I haven't been out on
I've
one.
only been on one myself.
okay, and so
And
his
and they
complaint
actually
was
settled
what,
it
brush?
after we went out, they settled.
Unmaintained fence line. The fence needs replaced, and this other individual sharing the fence line is not willing to pay his fair share to maintain the fence.
And he has goats on one side. And there's cattle on the other side.
There's goats on one side and cattle on the other, is that what it is?
That's what I'm saying. So it's just a couple miles south of my house. So,
You just get to go straight home afterwards.
right, I'll be home. Yeah,
Lunch at Jason's?
yeah.
Cool.
Just upsetting my neighbors. It'll be fine.
I'm fine with the
23rd?
23rd, let's set it up for that one.
I'm gonna be gone that meeting.
Back a week, then, I guess, and see if we can get,
16th?
yeah, we'll see if we can get.
Jack, okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yes, I'm gone that week.
Okay.
Well, we'll just set it for the 16th and then go ahead and so
Okay.
Jacqueline can be there. If she's not there, it doesn't.
As long
Fine,
as she's
right?
giving us,
And she's giving us, yeah, as long as.
Some
we know
guidance.
the Situation, yeah, I'm good with going without her, but if.
It's fine.
She just
So
needs to be.
We're good with go ahead and sending the certified letters then.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 16th. Okay. Okay. I'm good with that too.
Okay. Do you want to set it for noon, or do you want to make it for a different time?
I think 1.
You want to set it for 1?
It's fine.
Or do you want to just set it for after we adjourn?
I think we need to give them a specific time.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with 1 then.
Okay.
It's time to get something to eat. Way up.
Okay.
Right. So that we're not interrupting their schedule of whatever they have if they're taking the time to meet with us as well.
Okay.
So we can resolve this issue.
Like I said, this is the first time I've navigated this, so all I have to go off of is prior documentation from the prior clerk. It looks like you guys make a decision and then I notify them with another certified letter letting them know your decision officially.
Okay.
I don't think we have any other involvement after that.
We'll
Okay.
double check with the attorney and then maybe if you have another clerk you could reach out to on it.
Yep.
Just to double check we're doing everything right.
I'm good with that.
Did you have something? Okay.
Nope.
Just hanging out.
And enjoying the conversation.
Good.
So I was gonna introduce myself afterwards. So I'm Scott Brook, I'm the sales manager for the Ham Rock Quarry.
Right.
Okay.
We had a discussion months ago.
Right.
I know there was a change up, so I was kind of.
Can you come up and step up at the podium and talk?
Like, no.
If you don't yell at me.
Okay.
We're in a good mood.
Yeah, no, I just,
State who you are and who you're with.
I'm Scott Brook. I'm the sales manager for Ham Rock Quarries. We have a rock quarry there at the north end of Linn County, right there by the Lacey power plant. And we have one at Cadmus.
Right.
So we got a couple of them here. I know there was a shakeup, change in the road and bridge leadership, so it's been a while. So I came down just to make sure.
Okay.
I didn't know who it was, but it seems like Jesse's
Jesse,
got it. So,
yep.
and Jesse and I have a great relationship. But
Good.
we enjoy being in this county. The last conversation the two of us had with the other person was the type of rock you were getting and making sure that you weren't getting a bunch of fines. And
Right.
it seems like it's going well.
I believe so.
I heard some mention of pricing, and those things are high. We are selling a limited resource, right? And for a very long time, it's been probably a little underpriced, but we did give, before Sean left, I reduced the price a bit to make sure that, we're working with you. We want you to buy every bit of rock you can from us. We do consider ourselves a partner here, right? We're here to help. We're here to sell rock to you all. You guys are a staple at these 2 rock quarries. So, that's all we're here to do is help, be a part of it. So I know you got some chip seal going on. We do have washed product. I think Jesse or Todd may have mentioned the dirty material, and that can be a problem when we have a dry screen material and then you get oil with it. Sometimes it doesn't stick very well, right? All of our material right now has been washed. So
You wash it, huh?
Yeah. So it is wet, right? Right now it's been rained on for quite some time, but it is good looking material. So you guys are using a 1/2 inch. I think you tried a 1/4 inch for a while. Maybe it didn't work out. Or maybe, I know Miami County went to a 1/2 and they go back to a 1/4, but we have both sizes. So if you guys want to use either one of those, we got them available.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
And
I'll
you,
talk to you.
you were Allison?
Yeah, I can talk to you after.
Okay,
we
thank you.
adjourn.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so we still got our legal with Jacqueline.
We still have 5 minutes with Jacqueline for attorney-client privilege, potential litigation. 3 commissioners, you need to be in.
I don't believe so.
Okay, 3 commissioners and Jacqueline for 5 minutes. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Return at 12:05, I guess.
I'll bring my phone this time.
Was no action. Anybody else have anything else?
I don't.
Do not.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it. And moved and seconded, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Adjourn.